Welcome to today's explainer. Okay, let's dive into this. Picture this totally relatable scenario. Your dog had a choice tonight, right? They could sleep on the floor, the couch, or maybe that really expensive $40 dog bed you bought them that they've used exactly twice. But nope, they chose you. And they'll make that exact same choice tomorrow night and the night after that, without you ever asking and without ever really needing a reason. Most folks think they know exactly why their dogs do this, but honestly, they usually get it wrong.
The go-to explanation everyone reaches for first is just simple biology. Dogs get cold, humans are warm. Sounds simple, comfortable, and kind of easy to believe, right? Well, actually, it's completely insufficient. Because think about it, your dog has options. They could seek out those nice sunny patches on the floor in the afternoon, or a couch cushion that traps heat, or even that pile of your laundry by the door that smells exactly like you and stays warm for hours. If warmth was literally the only point, they have way better choices. So why do they keep choosing the absolute worst heat source in the house? I mean, let's face the irony here. We humans are incredibly restless, we toss and turn all night, and we constantly steal the covers. We are a terrible heat source.
So, the crucial point is, to find the real answer, we have to look way deeper than just temperature. Look, sleep is the single most vulnerable state any animal can possibly enter. Every survival instinct your dog carries, instincts built across thousands of years of evading predators in the dark, is literally screaming at them to find somewhere hidden. They need a safe place, somewhere their body can just go completely offline without the cost being, well, their life. Yet, instead of finding a quiet, isolated hiding spot, your dog walks right past every quiet corner in your home and climbs right up next to you. To really get what's happening here, we have to look at this absolutely groundbreaking study from Erdős Loránd University in Budapest. Researchers there used the exact same attachment tests that developmental psychologists use to measure the deep bond between human infants and their mothers, and they applied it to dogs. The results literally stopped the scientific community in its tracks. 61% of the dogs tested showed a secure attachment to their owners. Guys, that is almost exactly the same proportion found in human toddlers bonding with their caregivers. It is the exact same emotional architecture, the exact same neurological need. Just think about the sheer emotional weight of that for a second. At their moment of greatest possible vulnerability, they are actively seeking closeness with their safe person. Your dog doesn't sleep next to you because you're warm. They sleep next to you because you are literally the safest thing in their world. When their survival instincts are telling them they're most at risk, they bypass every single hiding spot just to be near you.
And it gets even more fascinating. Have you ever noticed your dog constantly adjusting their position just to stay in contact with you through the night? You roll over, they shift. You move to the edge, they follow right along. It looks like clinginess, but it really isn't. In 2024, researchers at the University of Jyväskylä in Finland measured heart rate variability, or HRV, in 30 dog owner pairs. HRV is basically one of the most precise measures we have of nervous system regulation. High variability means a calm, regulated system, while low means an activated stress response. And what they found was just extraordinary. A dog's nervous system literally mirrors its owner's. When the owner was calm, the dog was calm. When the owner's stress response activated, the dog shifted to match it perfectly. And this profound synchronization was strongest not during play or even feeding, but during sleep.
For 8 straight hours, when you think absolutely nothing is happening, your dog isn't just lying next to you. Their autonomic nervous system is having a silent, continuous conversation with yours, all night long, without words, without either of you even knowing it. It is 2 bodies finding the same frequency in the dark. Literally, 2 bodies finding the exact same frequency in the dark.
Section 1. Decoding dog sleep positions. What is your dog saying? Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it kicks off our rapid-fire analysis of specific canine sleep postures. Because once you know what each of these means, I promise you, you will never look at your sleeping dog the same way again. Let's start with the classic, the tight curl. This is when their body is tucked in tight, paws folded underneath, and the tail is wrapped securely around them. This is the most highly protective sleep position in the entire canine repertoire. It actively guards the vital organs, conserves heat, and keeps every vulnerable part totally hidden. A dog who always sleeps this way definitely feels safe enough to be near you, but they aren't quite ready to fully let go. It represents deep trust, sure, but with a lingering layer of instinctual caution right underneath. Now contrast that protective stance with the full sprawl. Legs totally extended, belly totally exposed, sometimes sleeping completely upside down in a position that just looks anatomically impossible. This is the exact opposite of the tight curl. A dog showing their belly like this believes with absolute, complete certainty that nothing bad will happen to them. They have dropped every single survival instinct that told them to stay guarded, and they did that because your presence makes them feel perfectly, completely safe.
Then we have the back press. This is when they sleep with their spine firmly pressed right against your leg, your back, or your side. They aren't facing you, but it's super important to clarify that this is not them being aloof. Actually, in dog social behavior, intentionally turning your back to someone means you trust them so implicitly that you don't even need to watch them. It's not about creating distance at all. It is the absolute deepest kind of confidence. They know you're there, they know you're safe, and that is more than enough.
And finally, there is the full contact. Just wedged against you, sometimes in spaces that make absolutely no geometric sense, with as much of their body touching as much of yours as physically possible. This is a deliberate, conscious choice to erase all distance. It is devotion made physical. They want every single inch of separation gone. It is a nightly physical statement of their sheer devotion to you. But why do they crave this intense physical devotion? Well, a brilliant 2015 study from Azabu University in Japan reveals the invisible chemistry at play here. They measured oxytocin, the neurochemical your brain releases when you feel bonded, the exact same molecule that floods a mother's brain when holding a newborn. It turns out when a dog and owner share proximity and eye contact, both experience a simultaneous rise in oxytocin. The human's levels go up, which somehow makes the dog's levels go up, which makes the dog want more contact, which produces even more oxytocin. It's this beautiful, self-reinforcing neurochemical loop of bonding. And this brilliantly illustrates just how incredible our shared history is, because this oxytocin loop is totally exclusive to dogs and humans. Researchers actually tested this exact same interaction with wolves that were raised by humans from birth, and you know what? The loop simply didn't activate. This chemical bond was forged over 15,000 years of sleeping next to each other and surviving next to each other. Today, just 10 minutes of this contact produces measurable drops in cortisol, the stress hormone, in both species simultaneously. I mean, just imagine what 8 hours of synchronized nervous systems and oxytocin loops does for you both. But here is a critical and frankly urgent question we have to face. What does it mean when the sleeping suddenly stops? And I don't mean stopping occasionally on a hot summer night. I mean when a dog who has slept beside you for years suddenly chooses a different room, a different floor, and is simply absent from a 15,000-year-old ritual. We need to be very, very clear here. Abandoning their safe space is never random. Behavioral veterinarians issue stark warnings about this. Changes in sleep location are actually one of the earliest, most hidden signs of physical pain in dogs. It's often not limping or obvious crying. It's just a quiet withdrawal from the place they used to feel safest. Why? Because getting up onto the bed simply hurts now. The movement required costs them something physical they didn't use to pay. This disrupted nighttime behavior is a massive red flag that something is hurting. Beyond physical pain, there is an alarming neurological warning here too. Disrupted sleep is actually the earliest consistent sign of canine cognitive dysfunction, which is basically the dog equivalent of dementia. And it's stunningly common, affecting an estimated 35% of dogs over 8 years old. A dog who stops sleeping with you isn't just growing out of a habit. They are likely trying to tell you something in the only language they have. Let's move to and see how this builds. This is exactly why your vigilance is so absolutely crucial. By the time the really obvious late-stage symptoms of pain or cognitive decline arrive, the early window to help them has already closed. You have to pay attention to these subtle language cues in the dark before it's too late. So tonight, when your dog settles against you, when they adjust to stay in contact as you shift around, when their breathing finally slows and deepens, you know what is actually happening. 15,000 years of shared evolution chose this specific nightly moment of absolute safety. They are not there because you're warm. They are there because to them, in the oldest part of what they are, you are home. I really want you to look closely at your own dog tonight. Where does your dog sleep? And did they deliberately choose that spot? What is their specific sleeping position telling you about their level of trust? Analyze their behavior tonight, observe those nervous systems syncing up, and definitely share your discoveries with us in the comments. Thanks for watching this explainer, and we'll see you next time.